Oi, you know what time it is. It's time to talk about the bloody boys. And this week's episode was bloody bollocks, guys. The boys are back from the dead. Literally, Huey's dad back from the dead. Crazy episode, guys. And politics aside, I'm really enjoying the character work in this season. Now, there are a lot of problems with certain aspects of the writing, sure. There's some behind-the-scenes issues with Ozempic and lack of steroids. I'm looking at you, mother's milk. Hey, at least you're looking healthy, I hope. Now, jokes aside, guys, this episode was kind of insane for a lot of reasons. A lot of things unraveled in the plot that we're going to get into immediately. So, if you're here, like, comment, subscribe. Let's break down this week's episode. Episode 5 of The Boys. Beware the Jabberwock, my son. That's the title of the episode. The Jabberwock is a large winged chimera, mixture of several animals with the body of a dragon. Okay, so the Jabberwock in the title obviously is referring to the rabid V-infused animals that we see towards the latter half of the episode. I have a big problem with that scene, actually. We're going to dive into it. But yeah, beware the Jabberwock. The Jabberwock could also be referring to Huey's dad, who sort of becomes an animal of sorts. If you know, you know. But it's always interesting to look at the titles of shows. Sometimes they mean a lot. Sometimes they mean a little. Like the last episodes of The Acolyte were called Day and Night because they took place during day and night. Well done, Acolyte. Yeah, let's dive right into the episode, guys. Let's do this.
In a world of chaos, some things never change.
The episode begins with this MCU, classic 1950s comic, golden age inspirational speech about, heroes and the American values. It's just hilarious. They're roasting the hell out of Marvel and Disney this season, which is welcomed, very welcomed. Look at this. The Big Chief Apache says, "Don't litter, Kimosabi." And it's a white dude appropriating native culture. Fantastic. We always love appropriation. This is sort of a montage of like a look back on all of the Vought productions with the superheroes. Kind of an interesting little sequence here.
Welcome to the B52 Expo. Now please give a big round of applause for your hosts, Cameron Coleman and the Deep.
So V52 Expo, that's making fun of D23. Like, it's pretty obvious, right? Or Comic-Con kind of things, those conventions. And we have the Deep and we have the reporter on the stage. We see Homelander here contrasting the propaganda from Vought with his own experience of the dark side of Vought. And he doesn't want to buy into this whole heroic image. He does not give a shit. Sage knows about his little excursion to the underground Vought lab.
Homelander. Nice trip, Homeland.
Yeah, it was a fantastic trip. Just the best. Then they talk about like their Vought timeline of cinematic productions. And Deep says something hilarious here.
Phases 7 through 19.
Phases 7 through 19. You couldn't have gotten all the way up to 20. I mean, we want more phases. I know the Vought timeline now better than the Marvel timeline. I mean, come on. When's the last time they went on stage and announced 12 movies? That would never happen. It's been a while, feels like. Where's Blade?
Ladies and gentlemen, two-time Academy Award winner, Mahershala Ali.
Damn it, Kevin Feige. We cut away from the convention back to the hospital with Huey, the mom, and his dad. And Simon Pegg just, a.k.a. Huey Campbell Sr., wakes up and he's just fine.
Is there anything like buzzing or tingling or weird?
Well, I'm telling you, I feel great.
A lot of the comments from last week on my video said he was going to be a zombie brain dead. Now, that is sort of true, and it comes to fruition in a bit here. But he doesn't wake up immediately like that.
Are you absolutely sure I had a stroke?
Yes.
Yeah, you were dead, brother. Comatose. You were in a coma, and you were about to be plug pulled, so to speak.
I was buying a family pack of pizza rolls. They didn't have pepperoni.
Dad, forget about the pizza rolls.
He's not even worried about a thing. He's talking about the pizza rolls. Great.
I shouldn't be alive, right? I mean, it's a true blue miracle.
A true blue miracle, he says. And that's funny because literally it was a blue miracle. It was the blue Vought juice, the V, that brought him back to life. A literal blue miracle. How did you know? So Huey and his mom then talk about bringing him back to life.
You gave him the V? Yeah, I thought that's what you wanted. It fell out of your coat.
Apparently it fell out of his coat. I was under the assumption that she kind of stole it out of his coat. So maybe she's still being a little mistrustworthy here. A little bit of a white liar.
I've seen that shit go wrong so many times.
Look at him. He's fine.
The mom's all confident about him. He's fine. He's fine. And whenever someone says that in this show, they're never going to be fine, right? Plus, it's the V. We know this does not go down well, especially when you use it later in life. Has worse effects on the body. And then bringing somebody back from the dead. Ooh, there's always a price to pay in this show. There's always a price to pay. His mom is actually having a little bit of a character arc here as she starts to care for Huey genuinely again.
Grew up without one parent. I just couldn't bear the thought of you losing another one.
She's like, oh, I can't be around for you as much as your dad, can. He's a better parent, so I revived him. Come on. Huey's starting to come around to his mom, I think. I think he really is. We then cut back to Firecracker. She drops another truth bomb.
Starlight can't decide whether to baby or kill it. Well, I am pressing charges for assault, and that's for damn sure.
Yeah, can't decide whether to grape a baby or kill it. Sorry, I don't want to say that for the algorithm. I just don't want to say it in general, but I'm going to have to censor the clip. Jarvis, censor that shit.
Right away, sir.
Anyways, yeah, she's going all in like Fox News style on the hit pieces with Starlight still.
This is a biblical war of good versus evil, folks. And I'm declaring hunting season on Starlighters.
She says this is a biblical war. She's literally calling for violence against supporters. I don't think that would ever happen in any sort of, actual true to life newscaster scenario. Like they don't call for violence. But it is a satire, and it's kind of hilarious. But and we have this inside of the headquarters for the children's shelter that Starlight runs, and it says "Baby Killer," "Satan." I guess they broke in and spray painted, but all the windows seem fine. I don't know. Interesting stuff. Maybe this window's open. Maybe they all climbed in through this window up here. Even says "libtards" on the wall and "justice for Ezekiel." Firecracker sent me. Oh wow, they have no subtlety in this show. It's hilarious. Not a single drop. The boys. Then we cut back to Mother's Milk and his daughter, who got in trouble for punching a kid.
Suspended for fighting, baby? This ain't like you.
Dad,
What were you thinking?
She talks about arguing about Homelander's hero status.
He said Homelander's a hero, so I told him the truth. Then he told me to F-word off, so I hit him.
I guess she's come around to her dad's side, and she used to worship Homelander. Now she punches people for calling him a hero. Yeah, she's kind of taken after her father.
Baby, fighting is not how you solve problems.
Why not? That's what you do.
I mean, that's his job. You're a child, okay? You're at school. Different scenario. The Mother's Milk daughter plot line is like a D plot, and it's just a little bit, I don't know, it fizzles out for me. It's the least interesting part of the show. Even though I like Mother's Milk, he was a lot more of an interesting character. I think season 3 is where his interest peaked when he was about to confront Soldier Boy in the Hero-gasm. That was peak. We then cut to the devil on the shoulder for Butcher here. And what I mean by that, guys, is Jeffrey Dean Morgan is playing a character called Joe Kessler. I don't think Joe is a real person. Shout out to my comments. Somebody that clued me into this early is that, he's the devil and his wife is the angel. His wife's always urging him to do the right thing and get up and fight and protect Ryan. And this character, Joe Kessler, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan, he's sort of like, you know what? Ryan is an asset. And he's going to end this war against Homelander. He wants Ryan to be trained up and to be used as a super powered tool of sorts. And so that's Butcher's other half is like, do we get Ryan away from this conflict or do we use him in the center of this conflict? You'll see at the end of the episode the biggest clue that this guy's not real. But for now, he seems real enough. It hasn't been way too obvious yet. He also kind of talks like Butcher as well. You can see by the dialogue here.
Fuck all this cloak and dagger shit. It's bloody freezing in here. Well, I was thinking we could meet in your mom's pussy, but, I wanted someplace more private.
Butcher's like, he got me. That's something I would say. That's bollocks, mate. Truly. He's just like, he has nothing to say to it because that's what he's talking to himself, essentially.
Butcher, listen, how about we do this job? Just you and me. I don't know, Joe.
He's talking about, we need to go rogue. We need to stick to our guns and do what nobody else will do. Make the sacrifices, make the plays, even the dirty ones.
Your team's a joke. MM's on the verge of a breakdown. Frenchie is a junkie. Huey is a gaping wet pussy, and the two soups on your side. Man, for whatever reason, you have a blind spot for him.
You see, he's literally calling out the whole entire group in the same exact way that Butcher would do. This is Butcher's bad side personified. It's probably because of the brain tumor or whatever he's dealing with, the parasite causing these hallucinations, obviously.
All right, I'll give you Starlight. But Kamiko's a bloody good weapon. And the rest of them still at the scratch.
He's like, yeah, Starlight, but everybody else, goats. So apparently he just does not give a shit about Starlight. I don't know.
Half your brain is a tumor. This is your last shot at Homelander. And now you decide to go soft.
See, he says half your brain is a tumor. How would this guy know that unless he's literally inside his head? There's an easy clue right there.
They are decent people, but you and me, we don't belong with decent.
That's his whole conflict is, are you going to play along with this narrative of being one of the good guys, or are you going to show your true colors and get things done the wrong way, essentially? Or what he would consider to be the right way, using the wrong, conventionally wrong, immoral methods. He even dresses more like Butcher, okay? Look at them side by side. That's something that Butcher would possibly wear in a different timeline. We then come back to the headquarters, and Starlight's asking about Colin, the love interest from Frenchie's storyline, who's now, wants nothing to do with this shit because Frenchie killed his family.
Hey, so where is Colin?
Je sais pas. Ouais.
Because he completely ghosted me.
Yeah, went out of town. 10 minutes.
He's just like, yeah, he's gone. Kimiko's like, are you sure? Are you good?
Super.
He does a line of coke. He's just so casual with the drug use. Or I guess that was a pill crushed up. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Frenchie's clearly torn up about the relationship shit, but we don't care. I think the audience, from what I gathered in the comments, we don't actually care that much. Butcher enters the room.
Fucking hell, it's like a Morgan here. What's with all the long faces?
Looks like a bloody Morgan here. Then he says this to Starlight.
I call you a but you ain't got the depth or the warmth.
I'd call you a but you ain't got the depth or the warmth. That's something Jeffrey Dean Morgan would say. Butcher just does not have any affinity for Starlight. Thinks she's a total bozo.
I've been meaning to ask you something. How was it that you took out Ezekiel?
Yeah, Butcher, how the did you do that, man? Because you got knocked out, you passed out, you woke up, and he was in pieces. I mean, can you explain this further, please?
I have no idea.
What?
Bullshit. God's honest, I blacked out, came to, and there he was. Never mind that bollocks.
I think he knows, but he doesn't know exactly what's happening. He just doesn't want to dive into it. He doesn't want to expose his issue and become a further liability to the boys in their eyes. Butcher then goes on to talk about the ultimate solution that he's found.
I have found it. The answer to all our prayers.
And what might that be?
It's nothing much, just a virus that kills soups.
A virus that kills soups. I believe this is a storyline that was touched upon in the Gen V show, but I never finished that show. I don't know. They just tried to stuff the F word every 4 seconds in that show. The way the characters acted and spoke, it was like they were trying too hard to be teenagers. It was weird, so I stopped watching that show. But yeah, Gen V apparently had a storyline about a virus that kills soups. Correct me if I'm wrong, though.
A virus that kills soups?
Such a thing does not exist.
Did not exist. Does now.
Yeah, Frenchie doesn't think it exists. I mean, he would know, right? He's like the substance master, but Butcher has some intel.
You see, some clever cunts over at Godolphin University cooked up a bug that latches onto the V in their bloodstream. Fucking diabolical.
So is that the bug that's in Butcher's head, in his body? It's literally a growing bug. Huh, interesting. But what does it do to soups?
So you shoved this shit into me and Kimiko and we just dropped dead?
Yep. That's the idea.
Fucking diabolical.
Fucking diabolical.
So I guess it's perfectly not powerful enough to kill Homelander.
It ain't just enough to kill Homelander. I reckon if we get our hands on some and try it out on a lovely VP elect.
I'm not sure how he knows this. Is that from the Gen V storyline too? Did they try to use it on him? Not sure. Tell me in the comments. But also, they want to use it on the head popper.
When I went to God knew to nick it, Newman had picked me to the post, so we're going to have to nick it from here.
This is insane and desperate, even for you.
It's insane and desperate, even for you. You guys are the ones that have been like breaking into VOT headquarters to steal V throughout the years and killing soups. This is not insane and desperate. This is like a regular everyday thing for Butcher here. Are you kidding me? Also, I don't know what's up with her. She just sounds different. She sounds like she's turning into like a stretchy lady from Incredibles. It sounds like she can't move her mouth the same anymore. You guys get that feeling? Am I being too harsh? She definitely looks different. I don't know. Something's weird. So Mother's Milk being the voice of reason, he convinces the crew to get the job done.
If this virus is as dangerous as Butcher says it is, do you really want it in Newman's hands?
If this virus is deadly, do you want a villain to have it? Well, no. That's the whole plot of the show is we don't want the villains to have power. And this is a new power of sorts.
No, you're right.
Right in.
Yeah, definitely right.
Oh, one other tiny little thing.
Oh, what? There's one more thing, I guess.
I need you to get us one presidential pardon.
What? He's like, yeah, just waltz into the White House and get us a pardon. I guess they do have connects to the deep state, to the government, so it's not that much of a stretch, but it's funny how easy it is for them to get things done, like with a snap of a finger. Just like, oh, can I get a presidential pardon? Sure you can. One presidential pardon ticket coming right up. And the look on Butcher's face, it's classic Butcher character moment right there. Just love it. Can't get enough. I watched the show mostly for Butcher and Homelander. Huey's cool, I guess. A-Train and the Deep are my other two favorite characters. We then get a come to Jesus moment with Jesus freak or pretender Jesus freak firecracker here.
I know I should be happy, but I'm not sure I'm strong enough to fight all the sinners. Will you carry me, Jesus?
The Jesus statue literally like lights up in front of her and like washes away her sins. I don't know. It was filmed. It was a whole production.
That clip's from our new studio division, Vought Faith.
And we're back in the Vought V52 convention thing.
Speaking of faith, let's all have a moment of silence for my brother in Christ. Adios, amigo.
Oh God, the Deep dude, adios amigo. He's so classy, just filled with the best vibes. Heartwarming sentiments from the Deep always. They use a Sarah McLachlan song. You remember that? That's from the commercials back in the day. In the eyes of the angels, where they're selling you on the fact that like dogs need homes or something like that. I don't know. Remember that shit? We have Ezekiel getting memorialized here, eulogized in a way. The Deep just does not like this guy, and A-Train does not like her, and she knows. She knows something's up, or she's trying to maybe act like she knows something's up with A-Train to get him to confess.
Still searching for this leak. There's gotta be someone. That footage didn't just run itself out of crime analytics. Am I right?
The footage just didn't run itself out. I mean, come on. I think she almost knows, but she doesn't have any hard evidence yet. She doesn't want to make the wrong move. She's smart enough to know that she has to have more concrete evidence in order to do something effectively. See, I don't know. She gets like a read on his body language there, and something tells me that confirmed her suspicion. But by the end of the episode, we confirm that she is still going along with the fact that A-Train is not a traitor. So it's weird. It's confusing. We then cut to a prison scene where they're extracting our main man, Gustavo here, a.k.a. Stan Edgar.
For fuck's sakes, you got fleas or something?
Mother's Milk has like hives or some shit. I'm not sure what that's going to be in the story, but it comes up multiple times this episode. Edgar talks about the fact that he's got to get back to his pottery lessons, but Butcher says, what's better than pottery lessons? How about a presidential pardon?
I have pottery class in 10 minutes. Right. Would you rather finger some fucking clay, or...
You get out of here.
Walk the out of here.
Also, you get to have custody of basically your granddaughter.
She shut up sweet little Zoe full of me. How about we get you out of here? Exonerated. And throw in custody of Zoe.
It's kind of interesting they're able to play on his heartstrings with Zoe, the granddaughter, the daughter of Newman. I guess that turns the tide for him instantly. I guess he's a good guy when it comes down to it. This scene was kind of cheesy for me when they get back in the van with Stan Edgar.
What an unexpected pleasure. Charming. Do you have a towel I could place over the seat?
Charming. Do you have a towel? And then the music plays with it. It's like it's supposed to be super funny, but it's not that funny. Something's off with the acting in these scenes with him this season, for me personally. We then cut to this hospital scene with Huey, his mom, and his dad, and they're reminiscing on the past. And Huey is the best actor out of these three. He's the only one selling me on the fact that they are actually a family, or they're actually like real people.
Come on, be serious.
Acapulco wasn't that bad.
The honeymoon suite had 2 twin beds.
I just get a weird vibe from the mom, and even from Simon Pegg.
Vomiting at the swim-up bar, and the all-included buffet seemingly only included salmonella.
He just comes off as fake. It's just something's weird. I just don't like these scenes. Maybe it's the writing. I'm not sure. It's just a little tacky.
It'd be great to go back, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For the food poisoning? No, it's just Acapulco.
They're doing a lot of build-up work to get them back as a family unit so that the scene at the end really hits harder, which is nice. It did have that effect for me a little bit. His mom ends up going out to, use the restroom because she's just uncomfortable. It's too much emotions. And something happens with Papa Hugh here. First, he talks about how their cat, when they were younger, was getting way too sick, and Huey just wouldn't let it go.
Cat wouldn't eat and yet somehow still had diarrhea, and you would not let me put him down until he eventually kind of just, exploded.
So Huey's dad gave power of attorney to the mother because he didn't think that Huey had the guts to make the decision. That's going to be a metaphor for the father continuing throughout the episode. So I like this. I do like the dialogue. And this is the little slip up that happens with Papa Hugh.
Hey, where's your mom gone? She went to the bathroom, remember?
Yeah, of course.
His brain is losing it to the V. It's not going to end well for him. We then cut to the scene where Edgar and the boys are infiltrating the Newman farm, the Newman ranch, basically the facility where they were testing the virus. There's nobody here, and the door's open. Shit has gone haywire. They go into the underground lab within the house. They find hazmat suits and blood everywhere. This shit has gone wrong.
What is all this?
Yeah, what is all this?
I'm as surprised as you are.
We see like hamster cages or little animal cages and blood everywhere. Now they're testing temp V on these animals as well. Why would you open the cage? I don't know why he opened the cage here. It's like, come on, bro. You had all the signs around you and you still do this. Then Frenchie discovers the fridge where the vials of the virus should have been, but they're not there.
What'd you find?
It's what I did not. See, the labels mark each iteration of this virus.
And they all start bleeding out of their noses. I'm not sure what or why that is. Oh, it's because of her. Yes. I guess when Newman's around, she sort of flexes her power sometimes, and that can affect everybody. I guess she's preemptively threatening them, which is kind of cool. Now, does that mean she can sense people from different rooms and like within proximity? Like she can just kind of use the force to sense people before she sees them? She actually doesn't have to see them to use her powers on them. So she does have an ability. I wonder if they're going to have that come into play where she uses the ability not only to pop ahead, but to sense people in different environments in proximity to her. I don't know if they'll ever do that, but they clearly showed that she has that ability because she used her power on them before she even entered the room. They have a cute little moment here between Newman and Edgar as they talk about the nature of their betrayals.
You brought these assholes here? They want to kill me.
I'm sorry. Are you upset that I betrayed you?
They're just both psychopaths, sociopaths. She then asks him about Samir, and he's sort of this, evil scientist of sorts, or mad scientist of sorts when it comes to the virus.
You have 5 seconds to tell me what you did to Samir, or I paint this room red.
Who the Samir?
And Annie tries to flex her power on Newman, but she can't get it up.
Enough. So, you brought in Samir.
She's been having trouble this season. Maybe it's all the Ozempic. Then Edgar gives some exposition that we already kind of knew, but he reinforces it to the audience mostly, I guess.
If I'm not mistaken, you hurt these people. They expose you as a super-abled killer.
They agree to go on the hunt for Samir. We then cut back to the VOT Expo thing, and we have this little trailer of the Will Ferrell movie with A-Train.
A story about a hero.
I'm not giving up on you, but you can't give up on yourself.
We get some tension between the reporter, the VOT reporter, and the Deep here.
Call me crazy, but I'm sensing a little tension here.
Yeah, dude, you reported that I got shit canned as head of crime analytics.
The Deep is just, he's all upset about losing his prestigious job as the head of crime analytics. It really affected his ego. He didn't know how to fuck to do the job, but he really wanted the job. And I feel bad for him.
Bombag pulled me from his latest slice of life drama. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to say.
The Deep's just losing deals left and right. Losing the job, losing his slice of life drama. I mean, dude, guy's on a downward spiral. Who's he going to lose next? His Octopussy? Octopussy. His octopus girlfriend. Maybe.
Sure to check me out for this Hot Plus Thriller Double Standard.
A-Train introducing new VOT movies.
Which just finished reshooting its reshoots, making it the most expensive TV show ever.
It just finished reshooting its reshoots. Sounds like Captain America New World Order. God. I love when modern Marvel, modern Disney gets roasted, and we got to have more of that.
For the first time in VOT's history, we have 2 black heroes in the 7 and 1 unspecified.
They're doing some classic virtue signaling, corporate virtue signaling. I'm glad they're making fun of that too.
Which is why these articulate heroes will lead VOT's newest diversity initiative. Black at it.
Black at it. Wow. I mean, sounds like something Disney would do, for real.
Some say go woke, go broke.
Go woke, go broke.
Well, we say go woke, get yoked.
The politics in this season are a little more ham-fisted than they've ever been, but I guess real life is becoming that way too, so I give it a pass. But like I said, my favorite thing is the character interactions and the character developments.
When a white fan streams my movie, you'll see me holding a brand tailor-made to their tastes. When, say, black fans stream it, they'll see a delicious VOT Imperial Peach Cognac.
Even within the show, the universe recognizes that this shit has gone too far. It's like, yeah, why are we pandering so hard to people? It's just, it's over patronizing and it's kind of insulting. We then cut to one of my favorite scenes in the episode. We have Homelander, Ryan, and we have the director. I believe his name is Adam Burke. The actor is PJ Byrne.
Chuffa Chuffa from Cameron and Deep. Then we announce Ryan's debut series, Super School.
I love how this guy roasts modern directors. He's just so corny. My favorite line is from the previous seasons when Ashley said you had to have Tony Gilroy come in and finish your reshoots. It was hilarious. Probably one of the best lines in the show. We also get this dichotomy of the director and the assistant.
Bonnie, you look gorgeous today, by the way. Did you get my text?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't go as hard on it as they should. He just kind of calls her gorgeous. To me, it was a lazy way of doing the trope of, you know, the power dynamic. It hints at it, but for a show that cuts people's heads off, you would expect them to go harder. I would have preferred for him to like physically do something, like maybe give her a hug or give her a kiss on the cheek or give her a slap on the, you know, whatever. Just something to show us that he was truly being abusive of his power than just calling her gorgeous. In the comments section, I've been in a workplace before and I've had a female boss make comments at me like, "Oh, you look great today," or whatever. I never took it the wrong way. So I needed something more from this dynamic for it to really push it over the edge and justify the actions of Homelander and Ryan that we'll see later in this episode. It just didn't hit the mark for me. What comes of it is funny, but how we got there isn't quite good enough for me.
Hey, Ryan, what do you think? Seriously, what do you think? I really want to know.
Homelander here is now actually taking Ryan's wishes into consideration, whereas before he would have just controlled him and made him do this because it's good PR or whatever. Now he's like, you know what do you want to do? And we'll listen to you. What do you want to do?
It's just, super school? Why are we doing a teen show anyway?
Because we like money.
We do get a little Louis C.K. reference here as well.
Built all the sets. I think we bought up half the sound stages in Toronto.
Who cares?
Is this because I jerked it in front of Mika Kelly? Because again, that was just crossed wires.
Homelander then tries to push the director as far as possible. He's like, what can we get this asshole to do?
You want to get script approval? I can make anything sing.
Give me your black Amex.
What?
Like, we could push him around, Ryan. We can make him do anything. You know, he's just a tool.
You know what? Why don't you take my whole wallet?
And the keys to your Jaguar.
I would love to do that.
But even after all the manipulation to get Ryan to acquiesce to this show, to doing this production, he still says no.
Ryan, what do you say?
And Homelander's like, if he says no, I say no. We're getting the fuck out of here.
So you're really not mad at me?
No. I'm proud of you for speaking your mind.
He's actually proud of Ryan here. He then says something that's outrageous. It's just...
I've been manipulated by people. It's like being a slave, only worse.
It's like being a slave, only worse. Come on, Homelander. Far from a slave. I mean, I guess I could empathize with him when you take us back to last episode, when he was experimented on as a child. That is probably one of the worst things. So I could empathize with him there. But now as an adult, for the last, 10 years of his life, he's had a power position, where he could almost do almost anything he wants. So it's funny. The self-pity just comes off as falsified or overplayed. But that's kind of the point.
Realize that I've been doing the same thing to you. From now on, no more rules.
No rules. Anything you want. I want you to love me. He's doing this more so not because I feel like he's trying to be a good dad. I think he just wants Ryan to love him, which could be the same thing. But I don't know. He doesn't come off as a good parent, even though he is trying to play into that role. So it's weird. He talks about them being free and, above everybody.
We are both emancipated from slavery. We're free. As far as I'm concerned, this whole planet is empty, except for you and me.
We then cut to this scene where Stan Edgar steps in mud.
Sounds like you don't have 60 more pairs.
Prince Andrew gave me these shoes.
And he's all upset because Prince Andrew gave him the shoes. But brother, that was the only tiny puddle of mud in like the entire snow trail that you're walking on. And you just had to step in it. I don't know. It was funny. They then had this little conflict moment with Edgar and Newman.
Is that why you had me hide what I was? Stick to the shadows, never reach too high?
That was to protect you.
No, that was because you were ashamed of me.
My daughter will never have to live like that.
And she doesn't want them to live in the shadows. She wants to find a way for, the Soups to be free, is seemingly what her motivations are in this scene. And that's interesting. I think Edgar is afraid of the public more so than his own personal opinion. He's not disgusted by them. I think he's genuinely afraid of what happens when these Soups get exposed in positions of power. If Newman was to be outed, it wouldn't be good for her. And I don't think Edgar wants that. And she thinks he's coming from an angle of being disgusted by her. And I just don't think that's the case. I just don't buy it.
What's gonna happen when we find the virus and this little truce is over?
Starlight lines the bitch. Before she knows what's what, I'll jet it with a dose.
Classic Butcher. He's going to turn the tables on Newman right when they get what they want. He's planning on Starlight, who can barely use her powers right now, blinding her so he can jab her. I don't think that's going to work out, Butcher. They then see this barn door close for some reason, and they go to investigate. Not sure how it closed. Maybe the wind, I guess. I cannot show that scene on YouTube, but a guy gets ran through by a chicken, one of the Secret Service members for Newman. A chicken flies through his chest, and they all freak out. Kimiko's going hand-to-hand combat with him. And Newman's able to pop the head of one of the chickens. Now, this is why I have a problem with this scene. She's able to pop the head of a chicken, and she doesn't really use that power much else during the episode. So they all get out of the barn, and one of the other problems I have is that these souped up animals are able to fly completely through someone's stomach, but they can't get through wooden doors. I guess that's their power limit, but like I feel like if you can get through someone's stomach, you can get through a wooden door. I don't know. So it's the power inconsistency, and it's the Newman power inconsistency as well. Just a bunch of inconsistencies with the writing in this. Then we get a beautiful line from Butcher.
Well, you could have warned us your pal Samir was being up a Kentucky Fried Massacre, couldn't ya?
Then Butcher gets exposed.
Did you tell your friends about the deal we made? So he'd steal all the files you had on me if I gave him Ryan.
Now, I didn't go through with it, did I? Which proves I'm on the level.
He's like, I thought about doing it, but I didn't do it. Therefore, I'm good. And Kimiko's face, look at her. She's just not having it.
We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's just go.
It's an absolute wonder to me that you've all managed to live this long.
Mother's milk, always the voice of reason. He's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Let's get out of here. Then cut to a scene with Ashley and her boyfriend here.
Excuse me. Hi. Did I say you could take out your vibrating Bluetooth beads?
What?
Go pop them back in right now.
But they're not working. He took them out.
You really expect me to come on stage in front of our most loyal fans?
Oh, yeah.
He's done with Ashley, and this is going to be a terrible move for him later in the episode.
This isn't working out for me anymore.
You are dumping me.
He's done with you. You're not powerful anymore. He needs a powerful, strong woman.
I need a dom who's dominating.
Then we get a confrontation between Sister Sage and Firecracker.
Is your angry look, or did Starlight up your face?
I thought they were going to get along fine, but now she understands she's just a pawn in Sage's plan, and she's not having it.
Y'all just think I'm stupid, poor white trash.
I don't think you're poor.
Underestimate me all you want. Makes that much easier to stick a fucking shit in your back.
I wonder how Sage is going to orchestrate the death of Firecracker, or vice versa, because one of them is going to die by the end of the season. I don't think both of them are making it out of this season alive. Tell me in the comments what you think. Who's going to die? I think Firecracker is not long for this world. We then come back to the farm, and we get a funny pun from Newman here. She's talking to Annie.
I noticed you're having a little projectile dysfunction.
She again goes on about this theme of the dual identities, the soups versus, their public identity.
Dual identities? I'm still Nadia. You thinking I want to let her out sometimes, but I can't. And shit, you've been Starlight for so long, do you even know who Annie is anymore?
This causes Annie to be very angry. I don't know. I don't know why it made her that angry. It was seemingly when I watched this episode for the first time, it was seemingly out of nowhere. Like, she gets that worked up about that. Starlight's character is just all over the place this season. Newman's basically invincible. She just tanks the punch. She's just trying to expose Annie for who she is, I guess. Butcher then comes across the bunny rabbit that he freed. It's still breathing, but it looks like it's on its last life. But no, the virus from within. So he realizes that might be what's going to happen to him. That thing inside him that's infecting his brain, controlling him perhaps, that might be his fate. And that's terrifying. But he stomps it out. And apparently, I guess you can just stomp the virus out like that, like the bug. It's not actually super powered, because if it was super powered, he wouldn't be able to, have the strength to do that. Unless his virus is giving him the strength in this moment. I don't know. It's unclear. We then cut back to the B52 Expo thing, and
Tech Knight!
we get Tech Knight. He's a character from the Gen V spinoff.
It's been a whole year since my last movie, so I'd say we're due for a reboot.
Makes fun of reboots. Great. We love that. Then we get a very key scene between Ashley and A-Train where, they talk about how they're both in the deep end when it comes to being exposed.
The leak wasn't Annika, it was me. We made a deal. So you either help me, it stays off my jock, or you go down with me.
He talks about how she's done more than just take a shit at his house. Anyways, he uses this as leverage to get her to do something to cover up his tracks. We then come back to the hospital, and Huey's dad is missing.
Dad? Dad? Yeah. Dad?
He finds him in another room, and he's sort of in this zombified state. He's just like zoned out.
Dad.
Hugh?
Wait. Just wait here for a second.
Turns out he actually killed somebody without realizing it.
How'd that happen?
He sort of scared. It's like this dementia, Alzheimer's like spin on the effect of the V.
What's going on? I don't know. I don't know.
This is not going to end well for him, obviously. He doesn't even recognize his own son.
Who are you? Dad, it's me. It's Huey.
He's able to phase through walls now, too.
Don't be like that.
I thought this was Cody Co when we first cut to him. You guys know who that is? And Huey's dad phases through the patient. Disgusting. I can't even show it. I could show this frame, but beyond this frame, I can't show it. Just terrible stuff. He gets away, phases through a wall again, and the hospital goes full out emergency declaration. Alarms are going off. They find him in a hallway, a bloody mess.
Dad?
Hugh?
Oh, fuck.
Hugh?
His mind is set all the way back like 10, 12 years ago. He's talking about taking Huey to the Vought store.
I can't. I'm sorry. I gotta take Huey to the Vought company store. He's saving up for a Tech Night doll.
He's clearly all over the place mentally. He's just deranged. He starts to turn on Huey's mom.
Daphne? You shouldn't be here. You left.
I came back.
And he even kills a security guard.
Wait, no!
So Huey and his mom take off. They're not going to be able to handle him. The Deep and the reporter then have an offstage conversation here at the expo.
Why, big plans tonight? Nothing much. Just gonna maybe your wife.
The Deep says he's going to make his wife so wet that he can just breathe through her juices.
Late night muff dive? Which will take forever because I don't need to come up for air. I can just breathe right through her juices. No.
Just disgusting, but like hilarious.
I know about your little closeted 8-armed hand job machine. I could cut a package together, have it on the air by tonight.
8-armed hand job machine is what he calls it. He says he can put a hit piece out tonight. Then we cut to a scene with Homelander and Ryan, and we finally start to see a character turn for the worse due to the influence and terrible parenting from Homelander here.
I kind of want to help people, but not like with fake saves, like really help.
That's amazing. You want to help her?
Now, this could be good real or bad real, but he wants to have a real effect on people. And Homelander, we all know how he goes about things, so this is what ends up happening.
Is he making you uncomfortable?
Kinda. Yeah.
And Homelander knows the power dynamic between these two, and it's not good for her. And he's like, you know what, Ryan? I think we can remedy this situation. Why don't you step up to the plate?
Adam, I think you should apologize.
I'm sorry if I was inappropriate.
He makes Adam apologize, but even that is not enough.
Didn't seem like you meant it.
Yeah, that's just my natural self.
Adam, I think you should get on your knees and do it again.
And he's like, yeah, get on your knees, bitch, and really say it this time.
I'm sorry if I exploited our inequitable power dynamic and I made you feel uncomfortable.
They don't buy it.
I think maybe he needs to be taught a lesson.
And Homelander says he needs to be taught a lesson. I thought there was going to be some broken bones, some lasers through them. I don't know. I thought this was going to get a lot crazier than it did. And I like the actor for the director a lot, PJ Byrne. So I was afraid. I was like, don't kill this dude off. He's too funny. He's not a good dude, but he's a good actor. I want him on the show. So keep him around. I'm glad they did it this way. But I do have a problem with what they did here. And I'll tell you why in a sec. He whispers to Ryan and he makes the assistant slap him around. So she does.
I want you to slap him.
Bonnie?
Oh, fuck. Do it again.
But my problem is she just keeps wailing on the dude.
Again.
I mean, he can probably take it, right? But there was no pushback or emotion from the girl being like, at some point, I feel like she would, after like maybe like 2 or 3 slaps, I feel like they should have cut the camera to her and had her being uncomfortable now as well. Because at first, she kind of accepted the fact that, yeah, she did want an apology from the director. But then she goes like full villain mode and just starts slapping the shit out of this dude. Now, maybe she's nervous, she's scared, whatever. But I would have liked one cutaway to her face to show that the way they're going about this is even too much, even for the victim in the situation. I would have liked that dynamic, but they didn't do it. They just have her keep slapping him. It comes off a little cartoonish and a little more unbelievable. I mean, this show is a satire, whatever, but still, you know what I mean? I wish they would have shown her at least have a little bit of struggle with the direction and influence, the negative, almost immoral influence here from Homelander and Ryan. But you can see Ryan is now enjoying the powers that he has, and Homelander is just loving all of it. This is exactly what he wanted, like father, like son. We then come back to the farm, and we see a souped up bull.
Is that a fucking Vita bull?
Yeah, it is. That's a beat up bull.
Off we nice and slow.
Off we fuck nice and slow. That's bollocks, mate. Holy shit. Yeah, that is crazy.
Run!
Get inside. Okay. So they make a run for it and they get inside this barn. Again, I have a problem with the power consistency. They get their way inside this barn and they close the wooden doors. I would have liked to see like some of the wood breaking or something. It just comes off as very inconsistent, like I said. So it took me out of the scene when I was watching this for the first time. Should be a little more damage on those doors, on those wooden doors. Frenchie then says this.
Oh, mon Dieu. I can't believe this is f***ing happening to me again.
I can't believe this is happening to me again. He has these like hallucinations all the time. So it's not the first time he's seen weird shit.
Oh my God, Samir. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And we see everybody's favorite typecast evil scientist man, Samir, the same guy from the Disney Plus Star Wars series Mandalorian, where he is the scientist who works with the midichlorians and cloning and Baby Yoda shit. He's clearly got a role cut out for himself, a certain type of role. The funny thing is that Edgar here is also in the Mandalorian and is also part of the Empire, who basically works alongside the scientist played by this dude. Little connection there, right? You talk about what happened with the accident here on the farm.
Gave V to a hamster so we could test the virus on it.
Well, if that hamster was your first mistake, mon ami.
It's strange that these scientists are doing experiments with V, and yet they seemingly have no ability to take precautions that would prevent superhero beings, superpowered beings from escaping. Like they're smart enough to make these compounds, you know, and cook up these concoctions that turn people into and animals into superpowered beings, but they're not smart enough to create cages or environments that can constrain them. It's a very odd scenario.
We got loose, trashed the lab. We ran, but the V had already leaked into the groundwater.
Apparently the V leaked into the groundwater. So if you just drink the water around here, you become superpowered. I thought you had to inject that shit into your bloodstream, but I guess you can just drink it now. That's cool, I guess. I don't know.
Is the virus gone?
Yes.
And he notes that the virus is gone, but he has one more vial.
Except for one dose.
Conveniently, he has one more vial. And Butcher's like, that's the dose we need. Holy shit. Mother's Milk has a pretty good plan, though, always.
So we inject it into your dead buddy over here as bait, and then we put him outside to infect the crazy flying sheep.
And then Frenchie's an idiot.
This man is in no condition to a sheep.
He's not going to a sheep, dude. They're going to eat the body, Frenchie.
They would eat him.
Yes, exactly what Edgar said. Butcher says, we need the virus. We're just going to make a run for it, and whoever dies, dies.
That's the only dose. I say we fucking leg it.
Butcher's right. It's too valuable.
Okay, we run. We don't all make it.
Darwinism, love.
Darwinism. Butch, dude, that's not going to work out. There could be a lot of you or all of you dying. It's not, I don't know why he all of a sudden has the stupidest fucking plan. I know he wants the virus, but it's the stupidest plan. We think get another hint at the hives from Mother's Milk. Now, I don't know if this is just a random thing or if it's going to be more important later on in the season. But yeah, he's like breaking out in hives here because he's getting so stressed.
Enough! Look! Y'all see this? Hives. And I got him because y'all motherfuckers are driving me to crazy.
I guess, does that happen? Never had it happen to me, only with allergies. Maybe he's allergic to bullshit. But Mother's Milk just absolutely obliterates the room with logic and reason. And he even calms Butcher down.
Now, Annie, you can't just go around fucking everybody up. And you are a motherfucker, but you a motherfucker with a heart.
If I had to pick somebody to get superpowers, it would be Mother's Milk. Because I think he would do the best to his ability to use those powers correctly. Butcher sees the light and he's like, yeah, you know what? Fine. We're going to do that. They inject the body with the virus and we move forward back to the hospital. Huey's mom is freaking out, but Huey's one of the boys and he's been through bloody hell. He's grown as a character since season 1. He's been dealing with this kind of shit forever now. And his mom's like, what? Huey's like, no, we got this. He's mixing up a deadly cocktail here of drugs to subdue and kill his father, put him down. Similar to how the dad talked about putting down the cat earlier in the episode. So this is Huey coming to a sort of character arc within this episode. He's stepping up and finally making the decisions that he never could make in the past, which is nice. That's a good part of the writing in this episode specifically. Here comes Huey's dad through the wall.
Daphne!
But Huey's going to be the voice of emotion and reason to turn him back and make him realize who he is, what he is, where he is, bring him back to his right mind.
When he took to the bot store to buy the Tech Night doll, and he said anything for your number one hero. That's the thing, Dad. He never was. You are.
And I think this scene was probably the most emotionally effective scene in the season so far. I really appreciate Jack Quaid's performance with Huey here. Like I said, I think he's one of the best actors. So his dad kind of comes to and realizes what's going on, and he's horrified, obviously. He doesn't want to be this guy.
Dad, it's Huey. It's Huey, remember?
I know it. I don't. There's something wrong with me.
We then cut back to the barn, and they took the bait. Newman asks about the virus. How long is this going to take? But they don't really know. Then a door opens, I guess. I don't know how they opened that door. It wasn't locked. Didn't they lock this place up? So everybody starts running. We see this animal puke its guts out and die. And then we see the rest of them start dropping dead. That shot was just hilarious. This one gets stuck on a tree, and they realize the virus worked. But strangely, in all the chaos, Samir, the scientist, has gone missing.
We scoured the property. We couldn't find Dr. Shaw, but we did find this. Thank you. I'm very sorry.
And they didn't get the virus in the end. They had to use the last vial of it. So they put Edgar back behind bars because they didn't get their deal.
Not very sporting of you to renege on a deal.
Deal was a pardon for the virus. No virus, no deal.
Newman gives this ominous look at Edgar, and she knows that she needs him. He's going to be a valuable asset to her. And I think she still has, familial ties. So this happens. He just kind of dabs himself up with a handkerchief. He's used to this shit by now. It does not faze him. So they're even now. They both been betrayed by each other, and now they're back on the same team. We then cut back to the Vought Tower with the Seven. And Homelander talks about a new direction for the heroes at Vought here.
We have to save America, to do some terrible things, some violent, merciless, maybe even cruel things for the greater good.
They're not going to be regular heroes anymore. They're going to be wrathful gods.
You'll no longer be beloved celebrities. You will be wrathful gods.
He then also addresses the leak, the betrayal from someone inside Vought from A-Train. But Ashley has tossed in a decoy.
The proof is on his phone. Calls to Marvin Milk.
The heroes, under the influence of Homelander, they go to town on this guy. He's done. We then cut to a scene where Frenchie is nervously walking up to a police station, and the guilt held within him is just bursting beyond the seams now, and is finally making him confront and confess his crimes, his murders, especially the murders of Colin's family, his ex-boyfriend. And I don't know. I didn't expect this from Frenchie's character. It was out of nowhere. It makes sense, but I just didn't expect it to happen. And so they, the boys are going to have to break him out of jail, or something's going to have to happen to free Frenchie next episode. We go back to the hospital with Huey and family, and, they put down his father here with a concoction of drugs. There's not much to say about this scene other than it actually made me sad. This is one of the most emotional scenes in the series. A lot of the scenes with Huey are those kind of scenes. He is a very emotional character and one of the best actors on the show, especially when it comes to portraying these kinds of things. So very sad scene. They end up putting the dad down. The only thing I have a problem with is how they're able to do this so secretly. There should have been 100 cops inside the hospital by now. That was one of my big issues with the logic in this show. The barn scene was a little iffy with the animals not being able to break into the barn, and then the sheep walked into an open door that they forgot to lock. Just weird. And then they're able to do all this with the father without being discovered at all. But the emotional execution of this scene is pretty good. They put him down, and we move back to the farm, and we see Butcher getting out of the car with his devil on the shoulder, Mr. Negan. And Butcher has done something treacherous here.
Oh, now see, that is classic Butcher.
Now, my question is, Butcher was somehow able to cut off this dude's leg and tie him up? But if we go back to the original barn scene when they're escaping, and this whole scene takes about 1 to 2 minutes, and then we see Butcher, he comes out of the shadows here, and he seemingly dragged him pretty far away. So you're telling me that within 2 minutes, Butcher was able to cut the dude's leg off and drag him and tie him up and come back to the group. I wish they would have played out this scene for a little longer. Like maybe they ran farther into the forest area and then they were like, where's Butcher? And then like Butcher maybe like fakes that he passed out on the floor or something like that, like away from them. And then they find him on the floor and he's like, oh, I don't know what happened. I passed out. Like there's a better way to write this scene, but they wanted to have it be a surprise at the end of the episode. So they kind of ham-fisted it. And so Butcher is here with Mr. Negan, devil on the shoulder. And here's the clue that this is actually just a hallucination from Butcher's mind.
Now, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. Your football days are over. But don't you worry. We'll patch you up. Right as rain.
He says, don't you worry. We'll patch you up. And this dude, the look from this dude is like, he's like confused. And he's like, who's, there's nobody there. That's what now he doesn't say that out loud, but the look and the expression on his face tells me that he's confused. Who are we talking about here?
You're gonna make us some more of that virus.
This was his backup plan. And honestly, bloody fucking bollocks, mate. Bloody brilliant, too, if you ask me. And just a classic Butcher move, going behind everybody's backs, going into the gray area or beyond the gray morally to get what needs to be done. And Mr. Negan is all for it, of course, being the devil on the shoulder. And the episode ends. Crazy. So, guys, this was not the best episode of the season or the series by any stretch, but a lot of character work was done, especially with Huey and his father. We resolved that whole arc, and we even got a new player or an old player returning to the board again in the form of Stan Edgar. He's back in action, and now he's actually going to be on the side of Newman, after being kind of played around with by the boys, by Mother's Milk. You know, they used him up. They didn't give him his deal, and they put him back in prison, but he was rescued by his daughter, Newman, and now they're going to be on the same team again. So that arc is kind of wrapped up a little bit. Now that's going to be very interesting to see what happens. We also got further character development with Ryan and Homelander also coming to terms with each other and sort of playing on the same team now. So a lot of father-son, father-daughter things going on in this episode. Huey and his dad, Newman and her dad, Ryan and his dad, all coming to a catharsis in different ways. And it's going to be interesting to see how Butcher can get Ryan back to the good side, because Ryan's clearly turning more towards the Homelander side of life. And it's just it's very interesting to see how the characters work together in this show and work against each other in this show. Now, the politics in this episode were probably the cheesiest, corniest part, and continue to be the corniest part about this show. A lot of people do watch it for that, the political satire, but I think they could take a lot of the political satire out and it could still be a good show, which is kind of how I enjoy the show. Like I said, I watch it for the characters, not for the political satire. Although I do enjoy the political satire during moments. Like I do like when they roast the Disney corporate modern day virtue signaling politics, and how they roast the specifically when they did like the targeted advertising bit with the with the different alcohol advertisements that would be seen by different demographics. That was pretty on the nose, but also pretty fucking hilarious to me. So there's moments when it shines through and it hits the mark. Definitely a very strong character episode for me. I would give this episode about a 7.5 out of 10. Maybe a 7 out of 10 because of the logical issues with both the hospital scene and the butcher scene at the end. It just, I didn't quite make sense of how he was able to maneuver and get that guy out, cut his leg off, tie him up all within the span of 2 minutes and return to the group. It didn't quite hit. But the character choices and the emotional choices by the writers definitely made a lot of sense and definitely had an impact this episode. So going to be looking forward to next week's. You guys let me know in the comments what I missed, what I messed up. Inevitably, I made some mistakes here with this interpretation of the episode. And that's fine. Would like to have a discussion, a civil discussion in the comments. I love you 3000. This has been Stark Cinema. I'll see you on the next video. Have a bloody great day.